Alright, it's TSM versus Complexity. I fully expect to see fairly standard bans, Elise, Kale. Likely Nidalee, Twisted Fate also banned out. Renekton getting the big ban, as teams really just hate playing against Renekton. Same with Elise, two very strong top lane champions that basically dominate the lane and don't allow for very many top laners to actually stay there. Thresh getting banned out. No one wanting to see those hooks. Looks like Rumble banned out as well. And we're going to have some very interesting choices for that top lane, considering most of the standard champions are banned out. Still have things like Kale and Nidalee that could come out from that top lane. Though I do expect to see at least one of those banned, as teams really just hate playing against Nidalee. She throws spears from so long away that they just chunk the enemy's health down, and you really can't engage on her. Kale banned out. Not wanting to see her ultimate used to great effect, as teams have really just turned team fights around with Kale ultimates, especially on someone like the AD carry or the AP carry. If they get caught out, you throw the Kale ultimate on, and they burn so much trying to kill her that the fight just snowballs in the other direction. Last ban out here by Complexity, and it will be a Draven ban out. Kind of surprised against TSM. I'm not sure Draven was the best choice, as WildTurtle can play a very wide number of champions in that AD role. But I don't think Draven's worth it compared to some of the other champions they left in the pool. But we shall see if it actually works out for him. And it will be TSM grabbing the Twisted Fate right off the bat. Shen's still available if they want to go with that super global strategy. But I think it would be wise for Complexity to actually pick up Shen here, so that wherever Twisted Fate goes, Shen can follow and turn around the ganks. Though I'm not sure how well Shen would actually do in the top lane, considering there has not actually been a top laner choice by TSM yet, and you really want to pick Shen later on in the draft if you can. But this is what TSM wants to run. They want to run the global split push, and then eventually it's all convene into one big team fight. But let's see what Complexity can actually do about that. They know this is TSM's bread and butter. What are they going to do? They've left open the Twisted Fate, and they do decide to go with an Amumu. Interesting choice along with Lulu. Kind of not showing their hand. They do have the Amumu jungle, which means that they will have some great team fight power, especially alongside Lulu. And I think Complexity might say, hey, you're going to try and split push? We're just going to 5-man right down the middle, destroy everything, and force you to actually come and fight us. You can split push all you want, but we're just going to group up as 5, push, push, push. And Caitlyn is going to be the choice from TSM, along with Shen, no surprise there. Caitlyn great at counter pushing, and is preventing the engagements. And Shen is there to split push. Complexity is going to have to really snowball this early game in order to have a chance later on, as that global lineup is just absolutely massive and incredibly powerful. I'm not sure how they're going to actually deal with it. They have an opportunity to do so if they can really get some good team fights going. But it's going to be hard considering the Caitlyn's there. And it looks like Complexity going for even more group up and destroy everyone, as they have the Kog Maw for long range poke. They have Zed who can actually get on the back line against Caitlyn. And yeah, this is Complexity saying we're going to be able to 1v1 you with Zed to stop the split push. And then barrel on down as a big group. Though I think TSM will likely pick up Xin Zhao. Could pick up a Janna here for more disengage, so you can actually have those Shen split pushing, even Twisted Fate split pushing as well, so that you can kind of defend 3v5. And it looks like Sona might be the choice. I think Sona would be a good choice as well. She has the crescendo and enough poke to really keep teams from actually engaging. They do have the ultimate on Xin Zhao, who can really knock people away and prevent engagement that way. So TSM has picked a very split push heavy lineup, but I think they're going to use it very well. This is their bread and butter. This is what they love to do. Pick up a split push, gank all day long in the mid lane, and really just dominate that kind of middle to late game with a split push style. But what Complexity here needs either a mid or top laner, depending upon how they wanted to lane things. Not sure exactly what they want to choose, as they've got a lot of the standard top laners banned out. But they could use another form of initiation, because Amumu will have to land the bandage toss to actually get anything started. I think a Malphite would actually be a pretty good choice here. They could run him teleport, use him as another form of initiation to just bypass the Caitlyn traps, and deal with the split push. He's also very tanky, so he doesn't actually die. He can just kind of sit around and absorb the split push. But I think they will actually go with this Diana pickup. Diana would be a great choice. Another engage, another big team fight hero, great duelist. And it's going to be hard for TSM to split push with Twisted Fate, as Diana would absolutely crush him in an actual engagement, as that's what Diana does. She isolates a target and absolutely destroys them. She's going to have to split push against Shen, or at least try and take down Shen and split push, because I don't think you're going to be able to have Twisted Fate split push now, with Diana and Zed, who could easily destroy him, as he's fairly squishy, especially considering they have those two assassins. And it's going to be an interesting time for TSM, as they're going to have to dominate this mid game to allow the split push to go on late. Complexity has picked up a very good lineup for dealing with this, and I think they were kind of ready for it. I wasn't so sure it was the best idea to give TSM this global lineup, but Complexity seems to have a plan, and I think they're going to stick with it and have at least an opportunity to get into the late game with Kog Maw and let him kind of carry the game from there, along with Zed and Diana just being able to blow up someone on the back line. It's a really good team comp by Complexity, and it's going to be their game to lose, assuming they don't just fall apart in the mid game and give up a bunch of kills to Twisted Fate or Shen, so they snowball out of control. But this is kind of how you deal with a split push. You pick some assassins, you pick a jungler or a support that can really engage into a fight and make the fight happen. And you say, if you're going to split push, you're going to be fighting 4v5. You're not going to be able to get that split pusher in here in a reasonable time. Twisted Fate's going to have a good opportunity to actually get down the back line of Kog Maw, as they don't have a whole lot of CC for him that's going to be able to protect Kog Maw. As they want to have Amumu, Zed, and Diana all jumping forward. It's basically going to be Lulu sitting there behind him, who has some decent CC, but not enough to really protect Kog Maw. She's more likely to be focused on getting the ultimate off on someone like Diana or Zed and dealing a bunch of damage to that front line, and not really worrying about Kog Maw that much. So Kog Maw's going to basically be left to protect himself while he has a good opportunity to kite. It's going to be a fairly challenging if Shen or Twisted Fate or even Xin Zhao get in on him. And it looks like we are going to see a bit of invade here by TSM as they're all pushing forward. The question is, will they be caught out? They have the lineup to do so. They have the gold card. They have the taunt. And it looks like Lulu will be caught here. Absolutely dead. And this will be first blood in favor of TSM. Excellent engage and invade. There was just no chance there. He should have done what most teams do, which is ward over the wall. But he's playing a little greedy and was hoping he can get down there in time. But that's just an excellent play by TSM. They're at a very nice advantage. The kill went to Twisted Fate, exactly what they want to see, giving him that bit of extra gold and a bit of extra experience. And it looks like we are going to have the lane swap up top, as Sona is going to be rotating around, trying to actually apply some pressure to Amumu. But she's not actually going to stay there. I think it would have been a good decision to actually just sit there and throw a few auto attacks on Amumu, because his early game jungling is already pretty bad. He really has to get ganks off or just kind of get to level 6. And it looks like Amumu will be starting up top with the double golems, with a bit of help from Kog Maw. We are going to have the lane swap happening, as Kog Maw is going to be up top. Sona and Caitlyn are going to be down bottom. And it's going to be very hard for Shen to get anything done. Diana's going to have a decent time, as that's just the nature of Diana. She does a lot of damage from a distance, and she really doesn't take that much mana to do so. Though Sona's going to be able to poke her down fairly heavily. Zed in the mid lane against Twisted Fate is going to be basically free farm until 6. Then Zed can basically destroy Twisted Fate, and Twisted Fate can roam around and destroy the rest of the team. And Zed had to decide to start with the red potion. I think it's a good choice for the mid lane, as he expects to be ganked up by Xin Zhao. Diana taking a lot of damage in his bottom lane is not going to be able to get anything going. Shen at least has one minion so far, which is not a lot. It looks like we are going to have Sona trying to come in here onto Amumu. But with Diana there, I don't think they're actually going to try and take a fight. It will be smited down. And a good decision there by Complexity defending their blue buff. Amumu really needed it. It took a bit of time out from Xin Zhao, but not a whole lot. And it looks like we are going to have a big gank coming down bottom, but it will be spotted out thanks to a ward. And Diana's just going to sit back and let this tower die. She has hit level 2, so she will be able to hit from a distance, but it's not going to be enough. Twisted Fate does throw the gold card down, but she does get the shield off. She is looking to apply a bit of a pressure here to Reginald, but Chuuper is not able to actually get anything really done. And this bottom tower is not long for this world. Amumu is spotted out by a ward in that trap bush, but he just barely misses the bandage toss. Zed coming towards the blue buff, but he is actually spotted by Xin Zhao and will be able to escape fairly easily. But that red buff slowing him down just enough that the minions are here. And with Amumu down bottom, they're actually able to save this tower. Kind of surprised considering they're in such bad shape. But they're doing decently well. They've kind of kept up. And Zed's getting a lot of farm in this mid lane. Diana not taking a whole lot of damage. And this tower is going to survive long enough so that the top tower takes even more damage. As that is a big minion wave there right now. Though Shen is a lot better at saving the tower, so he can easily shadow dash Kog Maw and force him to back up. Problem is you're giving free farm to Kog Maw. And you're not getting your Twisted Fate the levels he needs. He's going to be very late at level 6. As he's only level 3 now. And it's not looking to get any better as Amumu is able to tank the minion wave just a bit, though he takes a lot of damage. And this bottom tower will now go down. Amumu not able to save it for long enough. Still, it's not a bad exchange for Complexity considering how far behind Twisted Fate is. He's not going to be able to gank very well, even though he did pick up the first blood. It is still a very nice lead for TSM. And it looks like Xin Zhao is going to be able to jump onto Zed, but Zed in perfect shape here, as he does have his red potion still. He's burned out through all his health potions, but I don't think he really cares about them, as he really just wants to go back to base fairly soon. He needs to pick up that first item, and he'll be level 6 in time to just burst down Twisted Fate. It's going to be very hard for Twisted Fate to actually stay in lane against Zed if Zed hits 6. And it looks like we are going to have a gank up top by Xin Zhao. And I'm not sure it's actually going to do anything, but it is going to keep Kog Maw and Lulu from pushing down the tower. And it looks like Reginald is going to just stay at a distance. We do see a nice taunt by Shen as Kog Maw is caught out a bit, and he will be knocked up and taken down for first blood. Beautiful play there by I1. He does burn his flash and cleanse at the last second, and it is not able to do anything. And this is TSM's game to win. And I'm not sure what Complexity can do at this point. They're really far behind. And even their Kog Maw is not getting the start he wanted. He got killed early. He's not getting the free farm. Bandage toss misses there on Amumu. And he's going to take a few tower shots. But I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. And this bottom lane is going to be pressured by Caitlyn Sona. This is TSM doing exactly what they need to do. And they even have a ward near blue buff. So it's going to spot Amumu rotating around, so they're going to be completely safe. Up top, we have Zen and Shen just continuing to push this lane. Even though we do have Shen fairly low, he is able to shadow dash away. No chance of being caught up. Though Zed is going to be able to come top and try and apply some pressure. He does have the red potion, so he can get some extra damage. He is level 6, so he does have his ultimate. Twisted Fate is not in condition to actually go up top. He is not level 6 yet. And Zed will not actually go in there for an engagement. He just sees them backing away. And without any minions there, there's no real hope for him to get a good engagement off. They just have too much CC with those two champions. And it looks like Caitlyn and Sona are just going to rotate to the mid lane. Twisted Fate's still not level 6. Shen about to hit level 6. And that's when we're going to see the real power of the TSM lineup come out here. And I don't think it's going to be very easy for Complexity to actually get anything done here. Zed doing a good bit of damage here. The question is, will Amumu land his bandage toss? He does after the flash. He is not level 6, but that will be Caitlyn going down here. Nice pickup there by Zed, as Nickwu is going to be able to jump in here onto Sona. Nice decision here to actually just kind of stall, as Zed is in a bit of trouble, but he does use a shadow to jump away. Nice decision there. And that one kill exchange, that's exactly what Zed needed. He's going to be able to snowball pretty hard. Top tower taken down, evening out the towers. And Complexity has gotten what they needed. They got a bit of an exchange, and they forced Twisted Fate down bottom as he can't stand up against Zed. There's just nothing Zed can really do at this point that doesn't kill Twisted Fate outright. Twisted Fate going for double cloth armor, so he's not going to be able to gank. A very interesting choice by him. I figured he'd just go for basically running around the map. But it looks like we are going to have blue buff steal attempted, and it will be picked up by Amumu as he does smite it down, and we are going to have a big engage here as Lulu gets very low, but a beautiful flash away as she just barely lives. Zed very low on life as well as Caitlyn does come near. Twisted Fate does pop the ultimate, and Zed will be able to pick off. Twisted Fate does not actually get up there. Sona is forced to flash forward, but a nice slow there by Lulu. Amumu in a lot of trouble, and he will be not taken down. Kog Maw is here with a nice slowing field, able to keep Amumu alive, but that's a lot to pay for that blue buff. Diana getting a good bit of free palm down bottom, but TSM at a pretty hefty advantage with that global lineup. And it looks like we are going to have Kog Maw rotating in the mid lane just to pick up some farm. He is the high farmer on the map with 66 minions so far. 3 ahead of Zed and 6 ahead of Caitlyn at this point. As TSM is not farming particularly well on their champions, but they've made a lot happen around the map. They picked up the kills, they picked up some objectives, and they're looking to pick up another tower. As that's really been what they're going for. It looks like Zed is going to try and come in this mid lane, but I don't think he has what he needs to kill Caitlyn, though he does get a nice slow. And he is actually able to dodge the trap, and that means Caitlyn goes down. Sona goes down as well. Beautiful play there by Complexity. And it looks like Diana's in a lot of trouble down bottom, but the stun card doesn't land. He gets that slow card out, and he will go down here to Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao will be able to get the knock up. Or maybe not, as he's just out of range. Though there he does, finally, and Xin Zhao will be able to finish it off. But Diana does go in on a Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate getting fairly low, as you do see Amumu come up. And I do believe they know where he is. Kog Maw is going to be able to spot him out with his living artillery and finish off Twisted Fate. Oh yeah, there's Twisted Fate going down, and Amumu is able to continue to chase the Xin Zhao. I don't think he's going to be able to actually kill him. But that's a pretty big win. You get a blue buff onto Kog Maw. You get another good engagement on the side of Complexity, and they've evened out the gold lead. This Zed is really working out well for them, and they're going to be able to actually take the gold lead with this dragon, though the minion does spot him out. Very interestingly, running towards the dragon. Not sure exactly what that minion was doing out there, but there's the Shen ultimate, and that's some big damage coming out as we do see Amumu going down, and this is going to be TSM's dragon. That one minion really saved TSM's rear, as that would have been a big lead for Complexity with that dragon, but they are going to be taking it up, and have taken a 1,500 gold lead. And with this, Diana's going to be able to push the mid lane, though not very hard as the rest of TSM is rotating there. Caitlyn getting a lot of farm out of all of this. Zed getting even more, though, sitting at 91 minions. And Zed's going to be the saving grace for Complexity. He's going to be able to jump back there, kill Twisted Fate or Caitlyn before the fight begins. And that's the only way Complexity is going to be able to win this late, as they're going to have to make engagements happen, and Zed's the champion that can really do it. Diana's not going to be strong enough to jump in that back line and deal the damage she really needs to. But she's going to be able to tank a good bit for Zed. And she's really going to just apply a bunch of pressure and finish off what Zed can't. Right now we do have Kog Maw rotating to the mid lane. Not sure what actually he's going for. Caitlyn going for the early Infinity Edge. I like this choice as they really need that extra bit of damage. Kog Maw doing a good bit of damage there to Twisted Fate, who's not gotten a good ultimate off yet. He got one nice one for Vision, allowing them to finish off Amumu earlier. Or not Amumu, but Lulu earlier. Though it's not going to be enough, as he really needs to rotate around the map at this point. Though Complexity has grouped up a lot, and they're split pushing with characters that really Twisted Fate can't go on. They split push with Zed and Diana, both of which can actually beat Twisted Fate in a duel at this point, as Twisted Fate is not very farmed. He has 2 kills, though, and he's picked up the Sheen in addition to the armlet. It's not going to be enough to actually get a duel off here. But Zed wisely backing up, he senses the presence of someone. As we did see Shen trying to rotate down bottom. Twisted Fate ultimate is up. Shen ultimate still down. Every other ultimate is up. And we're likely going to see an engagement on the mid lane at some point. Twisted Fate still down bottom. Surprised he's going to actually stay down here, as he's going to get absolutely demolished by Zed, who's getting close to level 11, which is where Zed really shines. That second level of the ultimate is absolutely devastating. Diana going to rotate up top and just continue to split push. And Complexity is actually split pushing better than TSM this game, considering TSM's lineup. And it's working out fairly well, as Kog Maw's getting farmed, Zed's getting ridiculously farmed, and no one else on TSM is really getting that much farm. It's basically going to come down to how much damage Caitlyn can do, and compared to Kog Maw, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. It looks like Zed will be going for the Brutalizer, likely going to go pick up something with that Bilgewater Cutlass. I don't think he's going to go for Gunblade, though. And it looks like Shen has decided to pick up that Sunfire Cape, going for the split push build. We do see Xin Zhao picking up the Aegis of the Legion fairly early, as Amumu likely going to go for the Locket of the Iron Solari. Off for that, looks like Diana's going to be jumping in onto Shen, but Diana's just going to continue to farm. I thought she'd try at least apply some pressure to him. Shen doesn't have that much in terms of items. Zed down bottom 2v1ing himself, as Lulu and Kog Maw continue to push this mid lane. Xin Zhao does come up here, Twisted Fate with the ultimate, with the Shen ultimate, but Kog Maw just flashes and cleanses away. Well, he didn't even flash, he just cleansed away. And that's a pretty big win for Complexity. Both of the global ultimates were used by TSM. They're not going to be up for a good amount of time. And it's going to be hard for TSM to get an engagement without those ultimates. They don't have a real good way to engage outside of like a flash. But you really don't want to spend your flash on engaging. You want to spend that flash kind of in the middle of the team fight. Looks like Amumu is going to try and rotate down bottom to get onto a fight, but he's kind of staying in between. He doesn't know if he wants to help out the mid lane with their engagement or help out Zed with that 2v1. But it looks like he is going to rotate down bottom. And this is going to be Zed jumping in onto Caitlyn. He does get exhausted and will be able to finish Caitlyn off. Taken very low. Sona going to try and jump in on him. But there's Zed with a bunch of damage and is able to be taken down. But there is going to be Diana jumping in onto Sona, finishing her off. Pretty big win there as Zed picked up that one kill. And Diana finished him off. And the kill went to Sona. If it went to Caitlyn, I might have said that was a bad engagement. But it went to Sona, and Sona getting an extra kill, not that big a deal. Sona's not going to be able to do a whole lot with that extra gold. She can pick up an additional support item or two, but she doesn't scale amazingly well with items. She really just scales with cooldown reduction and the kind of utility items that people really like on their supports. Lulu in a bit of trouble. She has picked up blue buff. She is able to do a good bit of damage here to Shen, though Shen does have that nice shield to prevent a lot of it. And we are just going to have Kog Maw continuing to farm. And Kog Maw has now taken the lead from Zed. He's at 134 minions. Still has not gone and bought anything after that BF sword. I think he's saving to buy out the Infinity Edge. That'd be my guess, but I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done so yet, as that would be a big boost in his power level. And he could go something like Phantom Dancer first. And it looks like Dragon will be respawning in about 30 seconds. So TSM is getting in the area ready for it. They're placing the Caitlyn traps down, getting everything nice and warded. Kog Maw has gone back, picked up all the components of the Infinity Edge, and kind of surprised he doesn't have the gold to pick it up, considering Caitlyn already does have that Infinity Edge. But I think it's just the extra assist providing her that little bit of gold. And it looks like we are going to have a full 5-on-5 fight for this dragon. Not sure if this is what TSM wants, is to have that 5-on-5 fight, but they do have good vision and they will be able to spot out. Complexity rotating in here. Dragon has respawned, but TSM is spotted out. And Twist of Fate getting some good poke. As, yeah, their wards are there for TSM. They're getting basically everything they want. And Dragon has been started based on the fact that those Twist of Fate cards hit it. TSM deciding to back up. They are seeing they have great vision on both sides here, as both teams have perfect vision of the other. Twist of Fate going to try and come in here with a gold card, but not able to do so as Complexity backs out. Zed was not in that fight, and it looks like we are going to have Caitlyn pushing this mid turret down. And no matter what happens, that mid turret is a win for TSM, as that gives them a lot of map control and a good bit of gold. Diana trying to get in there, but Complexity just hasn't done anything. And if Complexity doesn't actually get a fight soon, Caitlyn's going to go rotate around and push this mid tower down. And she has the opportunity to do so. They really need to actually get a fight going. On the side of Complexity, they do get a nice bandage toss in. A lot of damage going off on to brunch, but there's a beautiful Amumu ultimate, hits 5. Big damage coming out here. Xin Zhao taken very low, as we do see Reginald taken in the back line. Diana finishing him off. Sona down as well. 2 for none, and there we go. Kog Maw does go down, making it 2 for 1. Dyrus in a lot of trouble, but they are going to continue. No, they're not going to continue to pursue. They had the opportunity to do so, but a 2 for 1 exchange. Good fight there by Complexity. Beautiful Amumu ultimate. Though they were just a little short on damage of finishing off several people. Xin Zhao lived with a sliver of health. Dyrus lived with a sliver of health on Shen. And even Xin Zhao lived with just a sliver of health. But TSM is going to be happy with that exchange overall. As they got the mid turret, they killed brunch on Kog Maw, and made sure Kog Maw doesn't get to farm for a little bit of time. Kog Maw now has picked up the Infinity Edge. And they're actually going to be able to stop them from pursuing this bottom tower. They're all very low. Diana's out of mana, though she will be able to pick up the blue buff and be back in fighting shape. I'm not sure how good it is, but it looks like TSM's going to at least try and apply some pressure here. Twisted Fate ultimate is popped, and he is going to go very deep, but the shadow from Zed will slow him down. Means he won't actually get an engagement, and Twisted Fate ultimate is going to be on cooldown. Dyrus up top can be able to push down this tower. There's no stopping him, as no one is in the area. Diana doesn't have the strength to actually stop him, as she just doesn't have enough damage at this point. She's had to go fairly tanky with those double Duran's rings. Zed's going to try and stop this tower push, but let's see if he's actually able to do so. And it looks like he's not, and it's going to be another big win by TSM. They're just exerting their dominance with this global strat, and they've taken a almost 3,000 gold lead at this point. Well, it's not a huge lead. It's enough considering they can split push and really force some bad fights out of Complexity later on. And even with a perfect Amumu ultimate on that last dragon fight, they almost went even. Kog Maw really just needs to pick up another item or two before the next fight if TSM wants, or before TSM is in trouble. Twisted Fate is getting close to that Lich Bane. He'll likely have that up very soon. Shen going for a pure tank build is going to be able to pick a Warmonk's after the Sunfire Cape and just continue to be a nuisance in these team fights. Blade of the Rune King has been picked up by Zed, and he's looking to really burst down that back line. Bottom tower under a lot of pressure as Caitlyn is still here, and Diana's getting fairly low. She does get it by the trap, and she might go down. She does pop her shield, but the bandage toss is there, but it does not hit. Diana will go down to the tower. Excellent play there by Caitlyn, and just a greedy play out of Complexity. And Complexity's in a lot of trouble. Shen should be able to dash it onto the Amumu in a moment. Speed up by Sona is here. Shadow dash right onto Amumu, and he will go down before getting anything off. Lulu does actually save him for a little bit. Beautiful ultimate, but Shen is there to finish him off with the Vorpal Blade. And this is TSM snowballing. And this is what TSM does best. Play a global lineup, snowball the game, and really just dominate every facet. There is just nothing Complexity can really do at this point. They're just not in a position to contest these fights. They're trying to force things, and it's not happening. And that last engagement was really bad because they gave a blue buff over to Caitlyn. Diana doesn't have a blue buff. Diana just now finishing up that Gnasher's Tooth. And she is really far behind. She's not going to be able to get onto that back line like she wants to. And their one saving grace is going to be Kog Maw and Zed in late game. And that's how they're going to have to win this. They're just going to have to apply a lot of pressure and deal massive damage to the back line so that there isn't enough damage for TSM to actually win the fights. And that's the big difference in this game, is Caitlyn is a ridiculous amount of goals. We do see Reginald jumping in here, taking a lot of damage from Kog Maw. But Kog Maw getting a little aggressive. And I'm kind of surprised how far down Kog Maw is, considering he's right up there with Caitlyn in terms of farm. He's down almost 2,000 gold, though that bottom turret will help him out a little bit. The Argosy Complexity on the warpath down the mid lane. And with a big minion wave down bottom, it is going to force Shen down there. Shen does have his ultimate, so he'll be perfectly fine. Twisted Fate does not have his own ultimate, Amumu ultimate down, so this is a good opportunity for TSM to engage. Something like a flash crescendo would be really nice. They got the Shen ultimate on top of that. And without the Amumu ultimate, Complexity is going to have a hard time controlling TSM. They don't have any other real big CC. They have a bit coming out of Lulu. They have a bit coming out from everyone else. Ace in the hole comes out from Caitlyn, but just harassment onto Lulu. It's a good decision to use because they know they're not going to take a fight anytime soon on the side of TSM. They really want Caitlyn to finish off that last whisper. And that means Lulu is going to be forced back to base. And this Lulu just does not have anything in terms of items. Sona actually has a bit. She has cooldown reduction boots. She has the Kindle Gem. While Lulu has gone basically pure survivability with that Duran shield and boots of mobility. Though Complexity has done a good job of actually making a bit of a comeback. They're down 3,000 gold. That should have been a bit higher. But they're just farming it out, getting all the items they need. But this is TSM's time to shine. Looks like we are going to have an ultimate. But there's a nice bandage toss across the wall. And Amumu does stay alive. But this is going to be hard for Amumu to actually come into this fight. Kog Maw takes a lot of damage. Though he does manage to stay just barely safe. Zed looking to go back. Same thing with Diana. And TSM will take the advantage here. Dragon up in 45 seconds, which is what they're going to try and fight at next. They've done a good job of applying pressure. They've really bullied around Complexity all over the map. And Shen's going to be able to split push and give them a real good opportunity at Dragon, which should be respawning here at any moment. Kog Maw is not in shape to actually fight this. He's going to have to go back to base. I'm surprised he doesn't pick up just a casual Vampiric Scepter just to get a bit of extra damage. And it looks like Dyrus is going to take a lot of damage here. But no, Zed decides not to pursue. I'm kind of surprised he didn't at least go out there and try and do a bit of damage. So in the upcoming fight, he won't be super strong. Oracle's picked up on Lulu and Xin Zhao. As we see, the blue buff has respawned. It looks like Diana will be able to pick that up. But TSM will be able to pick up Dragon before Complexity even realize it's respawned. And with that ward, they realize what's going on, so they're not actually going to take the fight. And a bit of a bait ward there by Diana, but TSM doesn't fall for it. Shen continuing a split push up top. And when considering Dragon's not there, it looks like Zed pops the ultimate and a lot of damage. There comes a whole lot more from TSM as every ultimate was used to save Caitlyn. And with this, we are going to have a big win for TSM. There's nothing this Amumu can really do at this point. He's going to try and get some help from Lulu, but all this is just wasting time as TSM is going to be able to push down a few towers. And yeah, this is going to be another tower taken down by TSM. TSM just dominating all over the map. This global strategy, exactly what they love to do. And exactly what Complexity can't deal with. They had a good opportunity to do so, but they just made a few too many mistakes in this mid game. And TSM just has a little too much pressure for this Caitlyn. As Caitlyn takes a lot of damage. Nice pull in there by Diana, but no such luck finishing her off. As they just can't get in deep enough. It's going to come down to, can Lulu get a good glitter lance off on Caitlyn to allow Diana and Zed to actually get their full combos off. Because Caitlyn at this point is virtually invincible because there's just too much CC coming out of TSM. They have the shield and taunt from Shen. They have Twisted Fate's gold cards. They have Sona and basically everything Sona does. And it looks like we are going to see a Desperation Baron here coming out from Complexity. Or at least a bait to do so. And it looks like they are going to be able to spot out Xin Zhao and just barely get on him, but he does flash away. No such luck of actually finding anything. And we are going to see Complexity rotating over. Looks like they are going to go for Baron. Caitlyn just too low on health to actually engage at this point. But she is going to stay here. She's at about half health. She doesn't have her cleanse, which is really needed for this fight. Complexity's taking this Baron down incredibly quickly. Kog Maw is going to be very vulnerable. Ace in the hole does fly, but it is picked up by Amumu. Amumu is trying to get into a fight here, but a nice Shadow Dash. Zed not in shape to actually fight. As Zed will be forced. That beautiful Amumu ultimate hits virtually everyone. Diana's going to be able to rush in onto TSM. As we do see another kill. Xin Zhao doing all he can as Kog Maw is going to be fighting Shen, but they both go down. And a huge win as TSM is wiped off the face of the floor. And that was just Caitlyn not getting protected. And a beautiful Amumu ultimate. And that's why Amumu's banned in solo queue, is those ultimates. That was beautiful. And then they stacked it up with the Lulu ultimate. Perfect play by Complexity. Exactly what they needed to come back in there. And if Caitlyn had full health, it might have been a much different fight. But Caitlyn just got destroyed early on in that engagement off the screen. And that was beautiful by Complexity. They virtually evened out the game. And with a bit of jungle stealing, they will actually be in the lead. But I don't think they're going to get enough to actually put them there just yet. But overall, a great fight for Complexity. The only one that dies is Kog Maw. And trading Kog Maw for 5, definitely worth it, considering he picked up a kill. He's almost even with Caitlyn, as he has picked up the last Whisper. And Complexity has really shown what they can do, and is making this very hard for TSM. I'm not sure what TSM wants to do at this point. There's not going to be an objective on the map for at least another 2 or 3 minutes. TSM really can't split push at this point, as Zed and Diana can just do too much. Twisted Fate pops his ultimate to see where everyone is, so he won't have that in a few moments. But I think it's a good use of the ultimate here. TSM not really wanting to fight at this point. They want to take control of their lanes, push everything out, get either Twisted Fate or Caitlyn that next step of items. And there we go. That's what TSM wanted. They needed the Zhonya's Hourglass on Twisted Fate. And with this fairly high farm game, the Twisted Fate passive is really adding a lot to the teams. It's an extra 2,000 or so gold on the side of TSM, and that's basically the entire lead at this point, is the Twisted Fate passive, which is kind of shocking considering how close it has been. And Complexity really just has a great lineup for team fights. Looks like Kog Maw and Complexity are just going to continue to split push. Complexity is out split pushing TSM, and I'm kind of surprised about it. Diana is very close to that Zhonya's Hourglass. I think that's going to be the next big item. Shen does taunt forward, but Shen is in a lot of trouble as Amumu is here. Kog Maw here, and he has been caught out. Ultimate does fly by Amumu, and that will be Shen going down. Kog Maw picks up the kill. Exactly what Complexity needed. Without the Shen ultimate to split push, Zed's going to have free roam down bottom. He's going to be able to pick up a tower. They're possibly able to pick up a tower up top, as there's no one really tanky on TSM outside of that Shen. Xin Zhao has a bit of tankiness, but he's not tanky enough, as Kog Maw is going to absolutely destroy him in a fight. Twisted Fate has decided to rotate down bottom, and Complexity will be able to even out the gold. It's perfectly even at 30 minutes, sitting at 4,600 for both teams. And this is Complexity's game to lose at this point. They feel like they have the stronger late game team. TSM just not taking advantage of that global lineup and making just a few too many mistakes. And the Complexity is actually out split pushing TSM. I know I've said that a few too many times already, but it's really surprising considering the lineup TSM has. And Kog Maw just does so much damage at this point. Ultimate does come out from Shen onto Twisted Fate, but Twisted Fate already back. Excellent play there by Complexity. Without Shen ultimate, I'm not sure what TSM is going to be able to do. It looks like they're just going to try and pressure this bottom lane, but Zed and Diana do have enough damage and survivability. They can just kind of jump in and out of the fight. Twisted Fate does pop his own ultimate, but Zed jumps over the wall with his shadow, and there's no catching up to him. Excellent play there by Zed and Nickwu. Nickwu's done an excellent job on Zed this game. He's really kept his team in the game and has snowballed them to a virtually even game, soon to be in their favor. Really off the back of just finding pickoffs on Zed and making sure Caitlyn can't do anything in these fights. Caitlyn is the one damage source on TSM. And if TSM can't protect Caitlyn, they don't have a shot of winning these fights. There's just too much tankiness and damage coming out of Complexity. Caitlyn actually going for an Executioner's Calling. Okay. I haven't seen that. Not sure exactly why she's picking that up. I guess she just wants a bit more crit and lifesteal. And they want it now, because TSM realizes they're on the clock, and that provides the best. It's one of the most cost-efficient items in the game. But it's just not picked up that often because it doesn't really build anything big. It's a great mid-game item to stop healing, though there's not a lot of healing coming out of Complexity. I mean, there's a bit from the Blade of the Rune King on Zed, and there's a bit on Kog Maw from his Duran's ring, and possibly Lifesteal Quince, but I'm not sure that's a wise choice. I would much like to see her just build up another BF sword, go into a possibly just, I don't know at this point, Bloodthirster maybe? Pick up her own Blade of the Rune King? I'm not sure what Caitlyn can do with this game to get enough damage to defeat Complexity. Complexity has stayed alive. They've taken a small gold lead. We're going to see Rando and Zoman out onto Amumu soon, and that's really going to be the key item for him. He's not going to be able to be killed in any timely fashion with that item up. Because Twist of Fate relies on auto attacks, Shen on auto attacks, Caitlyn on auto attacks, even Sona and Xin Zhao, all auto attack requiring champions, and they're going to have to hit Amumu for at least a few seconds, as his ultimate will go off, and it's going to be hard to get to Kog Maw. Rando and Zoman now up on Zed as well, as he has picked up the Last Whisper. Looks like we do have Zhonya's Hourglass, and we're likely to see a Riley's Crystal Scepter up onto Diana. Shen ultimate is back up, but Complexity is going for Baron. Twist of Fate down bottom as well. And it looks like we are going to see a blue buff steal first. I like this decision. Pick up the blue buff, grab every advantage you can. And TSM's going to go for a base trade, I think. They're going to grab this bottom inhibitor in exchange for a fight here. Though everyone on Complexity is here, and they're going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Baron before Twist of Fate and Shen actually get going. Zed doing the wise thing, just backing out and immediately going for the recall. There's nothing that's going to stop them here outside of a steal, and Odd One is not going to get the opportunities. He's going to be dead before Baron's anywhere close to dead. Zed with Home Guard, rushing towards the mid lane, and it's going to be one inhibitor down. I don't think they're going to be able to take down two, or they might. Zed not able to actually get onto Caitlyn. So it's going to be two inhibitors for Baron. Zed does jump forward on the trap, but Caitlyn in a lot of trouble. Ultimate does go out there by Shen, and Diana's going to continue to jump through. Amumu with a beautiful ultimate and bandage toss, as Shen is in a lot of trouble. Shen going to go down here as well. And I'm not sure that's worth it. They lost 3. They picked up 2 inhibitors, though. And Kog Maw is going to go down here for the kill. Twist of Fate trying to stay back and likely go and finish off the game, but he's not going to be able to. And Complexity is on the warpath. They're going to go for their own inhibitor, and I don't see anything stopping them, other than the fact that Mumu ultimate is down, but they don't need it at this point. They've got Kog Maw. He's picked up his Phantom Dancer, and he is doing ridiculous amounts of damage. And I like this decision to keep Nickwu on Zed back. He can just deal with anyone one-on-one, and that's going to be one inhibitor down. Still 14 to 10 seconds left on TSM, and they're going to rotate down bottom with Lulu and Diana. How low is this tower? It's at about half health, so they are going to be able to take it down. The Twist of Fate ultimate is popped, and he will be able to get an engagement onto Diana, but she does pop the Zhonya's Hourglass. Kog Maw in the area as well. Ultimate by Sona does come out there, but only hits Diana, just barely. Kog Maw in a lot of trouble, but he does flash away at the last second. Amumu still in the fight. Shen trying to get onto Kog Maw, but Kog Maw just life-stealing away, and this is not a good fight by Complexity. Zed's still here. Lulu getting very low, and they just need to run, or TSM's going to actually end the game. Nice block there by Zed, as Zed's Shadow will be able to slow down TSM just enough, along with the Ooze. And that's a bad decision there by Complexity. They just overstayed their welcome, and it's going to be very hard for them to defend, as there's still 30 seconds left up on anyone for Complexity, other than Kog Maw and Zed, and that's not who you want to have. There are the two you want to have up, but you're going to need someone else, or TSM's just going to take the game. Nickwu is still here, but Xin Zhao is going to come around from the side and might be able to catch him out, but he does have a shadow he could use, and he does pop the Blade of the Rune King. So it looks like we are going to see TSM not go for the good game. They're going to go push up top, likely try and take down all 3 of the inhibitors. Caitlyn is going to go back and try and go for a blue steal. Zed going to run up top, and Complexity has now lost their gold lead. TSM is in the lead just slightly, as it basically going back and forth. We're tied at 58,000, and TSM is in a slight advantage here, just due to the fact they have 2 inhibitors down for the moment to the only 1 of Complexity. It's not a big lead. It is virtually nothing at this point in the game. especially considering Kog Maw wants this game to go on. He needs lifesteal. And he's picked up the BF sword. He's going to have that lifesteal very soon. Bloodthirster is completed on Caitlyn. She has picked up Executioner's Calling as well. Not sure what she's going to pick up next. She needs something. And it looks like Complexity is going to go pick up Dragon at this point. Kog Maw has now picked up that Vampiric Scepter. Bloodthirster just a few minions away. It's really going to come down to this last engagement. Who can actually win a team fight? Complexity's shown they're a bit better at team fighting with their comp. But TSM has the ability to catch someone out and make it a 5v or 4v5 in their favor. Really not sure what either team wants to do at this point. Outside of wait for Baron and either take the base while Baron's being done, or fight at Baron. As neither team has that much of an advantage. And it looks like TSM is just going to continue to poke up top. Caitlyn a huge gold lead over everyone else with the exception of Zed, as they're both over 16,000. 13,000 up on the Kog Maw and Diana. While Shen and Twist of Fate are at about 12,000 each, well below everyone else. And the supports and junglers are sitting at about 9,000. It looks like Diana wants to try and push out this bottom lane, as she is going to jump onto Darius, and she does have the ability to actually take him down. I don't think he has enough damage to actually deal with her at this point, though he might, as she just is not staying alive. Those minions are doing too much damage, and she is going to be forced back. The super minion's just too strong, as Twist of Fate Ultimate does come out, but it will not be used to any effect. She was going to try and finish off Diana, but Diana just not going down, and there was a little too much support. But Twist of Fate Ultimate down for a few moments, which is a small victory. And Shen will be forced back to base. Shen just way too tanky at this point. Diana does not have enough damage to deal with super minions. And there's an inhibitor. Both inhibitors have respawned. Complexity will be able to push out these minion waves as the last of the super minions arrive. And with the super minions down, Complexity's in a small advantage. They're going to have an extra wave or two of super minions. Just barely enough. And it looks like we are going to have an engagement very soon. Complexity wants to take it. And I'm not sure where they're going to be able to take it, as TSM just has a little bit more map control at this point due to their ultimates. Complexity has opened up a sizable lead at this point. And I'm not sure what TSM is going to be able to do. Or I'm not sure what Complexity is going to be able to do. I'm not sure what either team is going to be able to do, as it's really going to be one engagement. Unless you get a double pentakill or something, or a double ace, it's basically going to be one team wins the fight, you win the game. That is it. It's one fight for the entire game, and I'm not sure where it's going to come. Baron's the likely choice, but if you Baron, TSM is just going to go take your inhibitors again and continue to stall. Double Phantom Dancer's out on Caitlyn. She is really dealing a lot of damage. Sold that Executioner's Calling. And she is looking to absolutely dominate these fights. She's so far ahead of everyone else but Zed. Problem is, Zed can kill her. That's going to be the big thing in these team fights, is if Zed can kill Caitlyn, or if Caitlyn can survive. Caitlyn can do enough damage to actually defeat Complexity. And it looks like we are going to have Shen continuing to split push down bottom, as Baron is started up just slightly, or at least baited out there. Diana's going to have to stay down bottom, so it's going to be a fight in favor of TSM. But let's see if they can actually do it. I don't think either team is going to be able to actually fight this. They spot out the ward by Complexity, and it looks like Complexity's just going to go for the Baron fight. Amumu is in there, and he will not get the steal. A little too late, and he is not in a good position here, as it looks like Lulu's taking a lot of damage. Beautiful ultimate there by Amumu, and he barely stays alive. Nice ultimate there by Amumu. Finishes off Caitlyn. Absolutely beautiful play by Zed, as we do see Xin Zhao doing a lot of damage as Kog Maw does go down. Twist of Fate still alive. Lulu in the area, and will be going down to Twist of Fate in just a moment. Or maybe not, as she does get the Glitter Lance off. Diana against Shen down bottom is going to be Shen winning just barely thanks to the Baron buff. Diana ran out of mana. And with this, Zed and Lulu are both going to escape. Lulu, just barely dodging that card. And TSM with a big win is going to be able to take down both inhibitors. And it looks like they're going to be able to snowball at least a bit more of an advantage. Zed coming out here trying to get in onto Shen, but Zed is getting taken fairly low. And he will be taken out here, though he will not be able to take down. No, he actually does get Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate does go down. Zed does go down as well. And Lulu getting fairly low, but she's not able to defend this inhibitor. It will go down. Bottom inhibitor likely as well. Though Amumu will be up. Kog Maw up soon. But one inhibitor down. They lost Baron. Still, in this game is anyone's game. The gold's perfectly even at this point. Absolutely crazy game. 43 minutes in. Perfectly even gold. And neither team is in that much of an advantage. I'm not sure what either team wants to do again, except wait for Baron, and then have another engagement like they just had, because TSM can take those engagements all day long. The only problem is, Caitlyn's out of items, Shen actually going for a Trinity Force, so he has a lot of items, he still has one big item slot left to go. Xin Zhao has a bunch of item slots left. Twisted Fate has 2 more item slots. And Sona has a bunch left as well. Looks like Complexity will be able to take Dragon here. I don't see TSM wanting to contest it. It would have been a decent area to contest, as it's something. It's an objective to contest, as there's not really another objective on the map outside of the inhibitors and Baron. All the other towers are taken down, and it's really going to be a hard fight for either team. Neither team has that much of an advantage. Neither team in a really good spot to fight. Because one fight can really decide it. We saw kind of several small fights, but it didn't really end the game. There were not enough people alive on either side to end the game. And that could be what happens here. One fight, and especially if the AD carries are left alive, they could just run down the middle, kill the towers, and game over. Both teams are playing it very cautiously, but TSM, with Baron buff on a few of their members still, they're going to stay through this in the mid-game. Looks like we are going to have Shirley's Reverie popped. Amumu trying to get into the fight, but he's not going to be able to do so. He does get a bandage toss out, but he's getting fairly low. He does not pop the ultimate. Shen with a Shadow Dash across. Amumu still not with the ultimate, and there's the Lulu ultimate and the Amumu ultimate. Beautiful crescendo, hits 4. And we are going to see a lot of damage coming out from both Kog Maw and Caitlyn, as they're both sitting in the back line doing a lot of damage, but Caitlyn's free. Caitlyn doing a lot of damage, double kill so far. Caitlyn is just continuing to pile through these last lines, triple kill by Caitlyn. And Caitlyn has picked up a quadra kill, and Caitlyn does pick up the penta kill as she finishes it off. TSM with the win. Excellent fight there. Caitlyn doing so much damage. Beautiful Caitlyn play, absolutely perfect. And that's what TSM needed. Caitlyn sitting on the back line, picks up the pentakill and the win for TSM. Excellent play out of Caitlyn. They just couldn't get the back line and killers. Kog Maw had to kind of dodge Shen and Xin Zhao, but Caitlyn just got to sit there and shoot the entire time. Beautiful play by TSM. And excellent play by WildTurtle to stand in. I have a feeling he's going to put this on the top of his resume and get on a real good team as a starter instead of just a substitute. Absolutely perfect by TSM and WildTurtle. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.